Coach DeMeco Ryans joining us in studio. Coach, welcome.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Air-conditioned comfort. Great to see you off the practice field.
Nice to be in here after practice. A lot cooler in here.
Can you assess the first day in pads for us? How'd you see it?
First day in pads, the emphasis was more red zone emphasis, so really working situational football today. And the main emphasis for our guys is just when we put on the pads is not to just go crazy, right? A lot of guys get amped up. They get excited. We got on pads. I just had to remind the guys this morning that, okay, we are still teammates, right, and make sure we protect each other. So that's the first rule of our team is protect the team. So as we're, going through and working our tackling, we just want to make sure we're thudding guys up, giving them a good fit, but then let them go and finish. And I thought the guys did a good job of taking that to the field today.
Coach, we were talking to Eric Murray on Sunday, and one of the things that he mentioned, and Mark and I both noticed how much time you guys are spending, especially like your O&D walkthroughs, and repping different looks, using the coaches to line up and do different things. And he talked about the communication being a really big focus, I would imagine, for the entire team, but definitely on the defensive side of the ball. When you think about communication, obviously, you're the guy wearing a green dot when you're playing. How important is that communication amongst the groups between the front linebackers, secondary, but just the whole unit itself?
Right, that communication is very vital to our success. Right, because when we're playing defense, we have a lot of different calls, a lot of different things happening. But now with the offenses we face, there's a lot of movement.
Yeah.
So when one guy moves on offense, that could change our entire defensive call. And if one guy is a little slow with communication and we have, 10 guys playing one defense and one guy who's off, and that one guy who is off, 9 times out of 10, he gets exposed. Yep. So we want to be in sync, and that's why it's very important to me to take the time before practice, walk, talk, make sure we're all on the same page, because if we're on the same page, and we got a chance. And if our guys got a chance and they know what to do, know how to do it, they can go play fast. Just want to eliminate any confusion so guys can have a clear mind so they can be explosive.
Coach, does that play into why there's so much 11-on-11 work? I feel like there's more than I've ever seen in a training camp, but can you speak to that a little bit?
With the 11-on-11 work, is more of me is just a mentality of that's real football. Right? We can easily get into a 7-on-7 and let the O-line, D-line go separate. But now the quarterback is getting, as I call it, fake looks in 7-on-7 because he's holding the ball. He's not feeling that pocket if it's collapsing, not feeling when he needs to move. So the teamwork is really geared toward quarterback, our focus, and making sure that he can feel the pocket, he can make the proper moves, and that's real football.
I told you defensive coaches don't like 7-on-7 because those quarterbacks sit back there and hold the ball, then they stick one in there, and then they're cheering. And defense is like, well, wait a second. That would have been a sack. Coach, I take notes as much as I possibly can out there, and I feel like I'm writing a lot of young dudes' numbers down that are making plays, whether it's rookie or second year. It really feels like those guys, not that everybody isn't. Blake Cashman's made a ton of plays, but it feels like the young guys really haven't come in here and kind of been demure and kind of off to the side and like, oh, you get your chance. Like they're stepping up and making some plays.
They are, and it's exciting to watch. And that's the core of our group. We have a young team, right? We've added some veteran guys through free agency, but the core of our group are a lot of young guys recently drafted who really are on the cusp of taking that next step. And that's when it gets really exciting. When you have second, third-year players, that's when you find out if guys can really hit their stride and become, that dominant college player they were. Like the game is starting to slow down for them, that second year, that third year. And now they can really let their talents just accentuate, like go. They can go faster because they know what to do. They're not worried about, all of the things as a rookie that he has on his plate. And that's what you're seeing, man. The young guys are really stepping up, and I'm encouraged by their play.
As a coach, when you see the offense make a play, it's, hey, great, go Texans, or the defense make a play, go Texans. How do you look at it, though? Because if one side is doing well, maybe the other side isn't doing something you want them to do.
Right. It's definitely been, it's been an adjustment for me. Not try to not get too excited when the defense makes a play, but there is a balance there. Right, because if the defense is making a play now, hey, there's a coaching point for the offense. Hey, we got to make sure we're protecting the ball. Now, I love interceptions. I love taking the ball away. That's our mindset. But also, we're a team here. We got to protect it when we're on offense, protect the ball, protect the team. So there is a duality there that I have to find a balance. But when they score a touchdown, I also make sure they make an explosive play. I make sure those guys understand I'm on your side too. Like you're scoring, I'm excited. We're all fired up when you're making those big plays.
Coach, I thought about this the first day that you walked out on the field. I was like, man, it's been a while since Cap's walked on his field. What was that feeling like walking on the field? Obviously in a different role, but what was that like walking on the field first day, kind of looking around going, all right, let's do this. Head coach first time, but back in the place where you play. What was that feeling like that first day?
Wow, it was definitely a surreal moment. Right, I remember. I said this earlier. I remember when I was walking across that bridge, stepping on the field as a rookie, and not knowing really what to expect.
Yeah.
Things are just going fast, and I was so nervous, as a rookie stepping on that field. And now, just to think now I'm walking across, and now I'm the head coach stepping on the field. Just had to take a moment, like, wow, it's kind of surreal. And then I snapped back into it. It's like, hey, a lot of people counting on you. Let's go.
What can you tell us about behind the scenes, how you guys keep everybody hydrated, everybody fresh as possible, despite the fact that you're practicing in near 100-degree heat?
Yeah, with our sports performance group, they do an outstanding job. Lad, our nutritionist, and his staff, right, as soon as those guys are coming into their locker room, there are hydration coolers right there. It's grab something. Lad and his staff, they prepared individualized shakes. So they have protein shakes, whatever that player wants. They get their own personal shake, and they're handed there. As soon as they go in the locker room, before they can sit down, they're already starting their process to refuel, all right, get their bodies back recovered. And outside of every meeting room, there's hydration coolers. So it really is a heavy focus because of what we deal with here with the humidity and heat. We have to make sure that our guys are hydrated, taken care of, and also with our strength coach, all right, Mike Eubanks, his staff, they do a great job what we call regen days, where they go into the weight room and they just work on just, stretching, rolling out their bodies, making sure, the hamstrings, the calves, everything is stretched out, and so they're ready to go the next day.
Coach, Mark and I were doing the math this morning. We're like, okay, July 31st. All right, we get on a plane next week. Oh, man, we got a preseason game in 10 days. Now, I know it's not like a regular season game because you'll have some starters play, some not, all that. I'm sure you've looked ahead in some sense to how you want to go about going through the preseason game. But how do you sort of prepare? Do you prepare for the game at all, kind of get a look at the Patriots at all, or whoever you're playing in the preseason game? How do you kind of take a look at that with this being the first one just 10 days away?
Right, yeah. It's funny you say that. I said it in my team meeting. It just felt weird saying, hey, we have a game next week.
Yeah.
And just reminding the guys of the urgency, how we have to pick it up and continue to get better. But with that first game, it's hard to, let's call it game plan. Right. But we want our guys to also make sure they have an idea of what they're going against. Right. Most of the first games are pretty vanilla, offense, defense. You just want to get good tempo, good feel. All right. Have the quarterbacks go out, make some, easy completions just to find a rhythm. So that's what you're looking for. Then when it comes to who's playing, I've started to think about that in my mind as of who do we need out there, who needs those reps. And it'll be an individualized plan for everybody. I don't throw everyone in a bucket, just say all of our starters need to play. Everybody's at different points of their career, so we'll go through that over the weekend.
You've been asked a ton about quarterback reps, but reps in general, Coach, how do you handle that? Is that a collective thing with your position group coaches? How do you guys go about doing that?
Yeah, with reps, myself and our offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, we go through the reps and see, all right, how many reps do we want per period? And then as we go to our coaches, we make sure the coaches understand that just because this set may say it's the ones, right, don't just get locked into, I cannot give another guy that rep. So we want our coaches to be very selective. They know the plays that when we are on scripted periods, we already have those plays planned out. So if there's a certain look, a certain play that you want, let's say Mechie, we want him to run this particular route, and it may be with the 2s or 3s, or it doesn't matter. Just make sure he gets that work and he gets that route. So there's a lot of planning that goes in. We define the total number of reps, but there's a lot of planning that goes in with the position coaches of making sure players get specific reps for what they need to work on.
A lot of guys have gone through a lot of stuff to get here. Some it's a knee injury, some an ankle. Some guys are rehabbing for a summer. One guy on your team beat leukemia, and that's John Mechie, and he's back in his training camp. Coach, I know you've been asked about this a lot, but I know Mark and I wanted to just ask you about what Mechie not only means to the organization, but just to show the fight to beat leukemia and get back on the field to help the squad this year.
I mean, he means everything to our organization and what we're about. We want to be champions. We see the sign every day. We want to be champions in every way, and he's shown that championship mindset, the mentality of what he's done in college, first and foremost as a player, coming into the league and facing the adversity that he's faced, and to see him overcome it. Right, that's championship mindset. Right, and I just continue to see him working back into football. It's taking time for him to get there, and that's okay. It's going to take time. It's been a while since he played ball, but he's headed in the right direction. He's doing it with a smile, doing it with a great attitude each and every single day, and it's encouraging and uplifting the others around him, and that's championship mindset. So encouraged with where Mechie is and very pleased with where he's headed.
You've been through so many camps with different coaches, different approaches. So how do you handle the rest of the day, meetings and whatever you do at night during camp? What can you share with us about that? Do you do some fun things with the players, try to keep it fresh? How do you approach it?
Well, after we're done with practice, the guys have probably a couple hours to just recover, do some regen in the weight room or lift. Then we go right into, we got special teams meetings. Then the guys will review practice film with their coaches and position meetings. All right, then I'll come in and I'll do a team meeting with the guys. And I try to keep it fun there, try to make it like a highlight reel of all the good plays that were in practice, try to highlight as much as I can. There are great teaching opportunities from how we can get better, and you can really highlight some guys on some of the stuff you may see as just a play, right? Guys don't know everything that goes into that play, and seeing the mental aspect of it. Right, quarterback seeing that it's pressure and being able to side adjust and go to his hot read. Like, I want to highlight those things to show that's what it's going to take to win games. So we keep that going, and then we actually go back out. After we finish that, we go back out, go for a walkthrough in the evening, and then the guys are on their own.
That evening walkthrough as a player is always a fun one.
Yeah.
And when I say a fun one, I mean not really. So as you sit there, Coach, and you're talking to the players, and you're looking, and the guys are tired, but you've been in those seats. You knew what that was like. Are you kind of thinking about that as you're going through your message and kind of like, all right, I know I've got 10 minutes with these guys or they're cooked? Do you kind of have that feeling because you were that guy not too long ago?
I know that's the feeling. You have to be quick. You have to be strong and be quick in those meetings. Right. I make sure I don't try to go longer than 20 minutes in a meeting because you start to lose guys, right? So I want to make sure it's highlight offense, defense, special team, making sure everybody's involved, ask guys questions on the spot, making sure they're ready, they know what they're talking about, they can answer, and just so their teammates know that they know what to do, they know what to say, how to do it. So just want to make sure everybody's engaged in those meetings and keep it light, keep it fun.
All right, I promise this is not a global warming question, but is camp hotter than it was when you were a rookie or your early days with the Texans?
It feels that way. It does feel that way. It is a little warmer nowadays. One thing I like about, it's hot. Guys know it's hot. Nobody complains. Yeah, like, that's the cool part about our team. It's like nobody complains. They go work. Whatever we ask them to do, they do it with a smile, with the right attitude, and that gives us a chance.
Nice. Is it giving you a second to kind of reacclimate as well? Because, like you said, this isn't Santa Clara either. No, I would imagine. I would imagine it's hot, but it's not kind of like this. Did you have to reacclimate too?
Oh yeah, I definitely had to reacclimate. Myself and the kid, I had to get my kids going. They're like, "Daddy, it's hot." It's like, get outside. We got to toughen up. Let's go.
Real heat now. It's real. Absolutely.
One more question from me. What about the family aspect? Because you have that tent area for the families, and sometimes the players can get reacquainted because they're away from their families for a while, and so are you for that matter.
Right. That's one of my favorite things about training camp, having the family tent. We're thankful for our Cal, Hannah providing the tent for the families, right? Covered, air conditioned, nice tent, nice and cool so the families can enjoy practice. But those are the special moments. Those are the special pictures that you get when your kids are able to come on the field, whether you're a player, coach, you spend so much time away from them, but to get that 15, 20-minute interaction with your kids, with your wives at their practice, man, that's special moments, and those are some of the best pictures you get to see. You get to throw the football with your boys, and it's a fun moment, special moment that I'm very thankful for.
Coach, thanks a lot for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you, guys.